What's up, guys? Boy Penny. There are some years when nothing happens, and then there are days and weeks when years happen, and we are currently living in one of those time vortexes where the 2024 election has accelerated a news cycle that is withering. And Donald Trump has once again survived an assassination attempt. I can't believe we have to say this. 65 days apart, President Trump has survived yet again a lone gunman with murky international connections and ties that we are trying to piece together, who wanted to kill President Trump. And now the feds have moved in to try and stop us from learning about this gunman and his motives. But we know so very much more about this than we do about Thomas Crooks. We're going to cover it here. It's very, very strange. Ryan Ralph is the would-be assassin's name. He is alive. And we certainly hope that the state of Florida has muscularly moved in order to lock down his testimony and all of his devices right now. This will be a treasure trove. This guy left quite a footprint online, and we know a lot about him. Speaking of leaving a footprint online, this post went viral yesterday. Donald Trump, ON2. Sadly, it's not real. It was a Photoshop, but I still thought it was great. This is the front page of the New York Post, just 65 days apart. Again, Trump targeted by a gunman with AK-47. Suspect was left-wing nut. Ex-president is safe and well. Left-wing nut? I think that is reductionist at best. First off, let's jump into President Trump and his first and only comment about this assassination attempt. Here we go. I would like to, this is verified. This is what President Trump did post. The 0-2. I sure hope he posts that, though. I hope he does post that. I would like to thank everybody. Their concern, well wishes, certainly an interesting day. Most importantly, I want to thank the U.S. Secret Service, Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, his Office of Brave, Dedicated Patriots, law enforcement, incredible job done. Trump International, keeping the 45th president of the United States safe in the upcoming presidential election. The job done was absolutely outstanding. I'm very proud to be an American. President Trump posting this and putting this up on through his spokesperson on social media, a man named Dan Scavino, is a great dude. In God We Trust. You can see here with Donald Trump's head right in front of the dais there in Congress. That's where this photo is, at the floor, in the floor of the House of Representatives. In God We Trust. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that the only reason that President Trump is alive is not because of his agents, or because of SWAT teams, or because of men with guns, or protective services who have done everything they can to not protect Trump. It's because of the hand of God. That is just a statement of fact at this point. Just a reminder that a Secret Service whistleblower said that Donald Trump's going to be executed, that this is going to happen again. This was after the first assassination attempt. They said Trump would be shot once more. The Secret Service whistleblower said this is going to happen. This is going to happen again and again and again until they eliminate the problem, which is Donald Trump. So this guy was right. This whistleblower was right. They shut this guy down internally. You know who was also right?
Twice on ridiculous pretenses. They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him.
So this was Tucker more than a year ago. More than 1 year ago, Tucker Carlson, in case you're wondering, like, who you need to be listening to in time.
Shout out to Tucker. Shout out to Tucker. Shout out to Fox. We appreciate you for firing Tucker Carlson. We appreciate you, Fox.
Yes. Straight up admitted that this is what's going to happen. Now, on our program, Tucker was on, Alex Jones was on. They were making the same admissions, but this is the first time in the zeitgeist where sort of the intellectual bubble was pierced by somebody with the platform like Tucker Carlson saying they're gonna find someone to assassinate him. And who did they find to assassinate Trump? A guy with a Biden-Harris sticker on the back of his truck, by the way. This is the gentleman's truck here. Ralph was a Biden-Harris sticker on the back of his white pickup truck sitting in his driveway in his Hawaii home. Now, it's very interesting. This guy had a home in Hawaii, and he had a business in Hawaii. It was just like a little like rental house that apparently never did any, never did any business. So this guy was listed as unemployed.
What? He
lived in Hawaii. He was voting in North Carolina, records show. Also, this is the photo of Ralph from the arrest. So what's going on with this guy? Look at this guy. He's like in a trance. MK Ultra going on here. What is this? His neighbors claim that everyone was afraid of him, that he was a complete psychopath. This guy was rabidly attempting to get people to sign up for the Ukraine war. All throughout his social media, there are papers, some of them in Ukrainian, some of them come from the Ukrainian International Legion, where he is encouraging veterans to go sign up for the Ukraine war. This was like this was clearly the motivating factor in this man's entire existence. He's still alive, so I look forward to hearing more about it. His son says his father hates Trump like all reasonable people. They're going to try and spin a narrative that he was a Trump supporter. He's not a Trump supporter. He lied about that. His records show that he was a Democrat donor, and he was a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris supporter. He tells the Daily Mail his father was not a violent person. This is the first time I heard about it. I don't like Trump either. He goes on to call his dad a martyr. So, what kind of a family is this? It's a person who said he would be glad when Donald Trump is gone. And his social media record is thankfully well preserved. A lot of people were able to get a lot of screenshots, which is why we demanded yesterday on the program with Eric Prince that Governor Ron DeSantis flex up and actually take control of this, since it is in his jurisdiction. 10th Amendment, Florida has a right to lock down this information and to have its own investigation. Now, we were the only show that pushed that forward, and here we go. Lo and behold, Ron DeSantis saying Florida will be conducting its own investigation into the assassination. People deserve the truth about what happened. Why was a man able to get within 500 yards? GOP nominee, good. We're very, very happy about that. He should assert full state control, daily press conferences, steady release of information to the public, hold those who radicalize this individual accountable. The FBI, former FBI official, is asking, how did this guy know that Donald Trump was going to be on the golf course in the first place? We'll get into a little more of his background in just a second, but let's just take this incident at face value. This assassination attempt at face value is an inside job, because Donald Trump did not have this on his schedule. He followed Donald Trump's schedule very, very closely. There's only three possible answers. He guessed and got very lucky. He conducted surveillance on Trump, which would be exceedingly hard because Donald Trump moves about and moves very, very quickly, and they don't announce where Trump's going, right? Followed him to the golf course, or he had inside information about Trump's schedule. Now, the surveillance thing doesn't make any sense because you can't follow a presidential motorcade. Try. Don't actually try. You're not allowed to follow. If there are cars that are trailing presidential motorcades, guess what happens to you? Sir, why exactly are you following us? This is not. Have you ever seen Donald Trump's motorcade? It's like 400 cars long.
Yep.
The guy's not going to be able to go follow Trump around. You can't do that, right? They mark you immediately as suspicious, or he had inside information about Trump's schedule. The last answer is scary, and implications that another person is involved. So who was he communicating with? Who's funding Ralph? Asked Robbie Starbucks. He has enough money to drop his life and go to Ukraine for 6 months? Where's the money coming from? It's not cheap to get to Ukraine. How did he pay for his AK-47? Where did he get it? Who's he meeting with in D.C.? You can see the guy was meeting in D.C. Here he is in D.C. Here he's in Ukraine. This is in Ukraine, Madian Square. And here he's in Washington, D.C. In D.C. and Kyiv to provide soldiers for the war effort. To provide soldiers? What the hell are you talking about, dude? What do you mean provide soldiers? Who's funding this guy? He doesn't have any source of income. Why is he in propaganda videos for Ukraine? Look at this. The Florida shooter appeared in an Azov battalion propaganda video in May 2022. There he is. People saying this has a CIA asset written all over it. Some of the individuals that he followed on social media were CIA assets. In fact, some of the first people he followed on social media. Am I reading this right? Here's an official arrest record. You can go find it for yourself. Actually, look this up. You can see on his arrest record, he was arrested in 2002 with a weapon of mass destruction. What does that mean? And he got probation? What do you mean a weapon of mass destruction? Like a recording of Kamala Harris's laugh? No, I mean it's 2002, right? Like this is something that is this is a very different timeline here. This is right after 9/11. He has this. Look at this. Possession of a weapon of mass destruction. What the hell is that? Look at all of these crimes. Look at all of these crimes. Vehicle theft, driver's license, resisting an officer, stolen goods. And then he's somehow allowed to vote? Something's super off with this story. Ryan Ralph, the latest would-be Trump assassination, has an extensive criminal background, 100 criminal filings, including being charged with a weapon of mass destruction. How did he get an AK-47 while traveling back and forth to Ukraine recruiting Afghan fighters? Oh, and early evidence seems to indicate that Ralph may have been voted on the Democrat ballot in North Carolina 6 months ago, which is odd considering his criminal history and his full-time residence in Hawaii. So what the hell is going on with this guy? New York Times and other left-wing publications have profiled the guy extensively. They write about him. Legion is with Legion growth stalling. Ryan Ralph, a former construction worker, is seeking recruits of Afghan soldiers who fled the Taliban. Mr. Ralph spent several months in Ukraine last year, planned to move them, in some cases illegally, from Pakistan to Iran to Ukraine. He said dozens have expressed interest. Wait a second, so this guy's moving like Afghanis to Ukraine? What the hell is going on? Like, what the hell is this? Who's paying for this? By the way, these are expensive trips. It's not cheap to get to DC and Kyiv to buy weapons. Who the hell is paying for all of this? What's going on here? This is crazy, man. This guy's obviously nuts, but like, you know, who's operating this guy? Look at it. Here he is, right here. What's he doing here? So it just doesn't make any sense. How'd he get the money? He's apparently unemployed. How'd he set up his little kill box here, which was these 2 backpacks, ceramic tile in it? What's a firearm? What's a firearm being used? What kind of firearm is this? Many are saying this looks like Ukrainian made. I don't know. Mike Johnson is talking more about the esprit de corps of President Trump. This apparently is a photo taken after the assassination attempt. Kelly and I are departing Mar-a-Lago. We just spent a few hours with the president, thanking God for protecting him today. No leader in American history endured more attacks and remained so strong and resilient. He's unstoppable. Yeah. I mean, I would agree, but also, what the hell, man? What the hell? Here's Mike Johnson.
Kelly and I were on the way to Mar-a-Lago when the shooting occurred, and so we were delayed a little bit because they shut down all the traffic, but then we arrived there about the time that President Trump did. We spent about 3 hours with him. He was in very good spirits, as you might expect. That's who he is. He's so resilient, and we were really grateful to see him. You know, I said this, and we'll all be talking about this for quite some time. There's no leader in the history of America that has been so attacked and has remained so strong and so resilient. He's one of a kind. He is not going to stop fighting for the American people, and it was really encouraging for us to sit and visit with him right after that happened.
Wow. Okay. Well, these are some of the strange updates. I mean, we're going to follow, obviously, the story through to its conclusion, but we're going to keep asking questions. And the real questions that linger right now is, what the hell is up with this guy? Who is operating this guy? Was he operating alone? Sure doesn't seem like it. How was he getting inside information? How do you know where President Trump was? How was he able to afford all these luxurious trips abroad? How was he able to buy weapons when he was a felon? Why did he have a weapon of mass destruction? How was he able to vote Democrat when he's a felon in North Carolina? When he lived in Hawaii? Oh, none of it makes sense. None of it makes any sense. All of it seems way too suspicious for us to just write it off as crazed lone gunman. He's just nuts. No, man. His son's saying he's a martyr. Something's up here.